So now the tools required for the practical 7 is the Ubuntu computer, a desktop computer and desktop computer within Ubuntu operating system, or you may have only the Ubuntu operating system installed in your machine as well. That is sufficient for this practical. So in my machine I have a Windows environment, Microsoft Windows environment. Under that I have installed the Oracle VM VirtualBox, and that way I have installed this Ubuntu operating system, and this gets started. This 18.04 I have installed and it gets started. Okay, so how many of you have installed Ubuntu operating system in your machine? Please raise your hand. Okay, Yagnik has installed. Nobody else than Agnik. So I request all of you, please install Ubuntu operating system. You will find the ISO file from internet and you can install this Ubuntu operating system. In this whole session, I will explain first. I will repeat again. And third time, I will ask any students to repeat whatever I have said. Once again, I will explain first. I will repeat again. And I will ask anyone students to repeat those steps again. So that will be you will remember these practicals, because the some steps if you miss then you cannot carry out further. So that's why please pay attention to this laboratory and steps which I recall in the repeating session. Then any one of you have to speak all those steps. Okay. Same way we have to allocate the IP address scheme. The same IP addressing numbering we have to follow. In these practicals, you have to give name of the NIC cards on interface. So give your friends or family members name as interface name. Submission, it's the same as previous. Rubrics, it's the same as previous. Nicely drafted document with clarity in answer leads to full marks. If you are going to submit same day, you will be evaluated from 10 marks. Otherwise, you will be evaluated from 7 marks. So this is the rubrics which we have added this time from the 7th practical onwards. Reference is what you have to refer this IPv. We will use iPerf in this our whole practicals. We have to refer these websites to learn more options on iPerf, and then you have to watch the videos of Wireshark. Hyperlinks are not created over here. Anyway, I'm going to explain what is Wireshark and how to use Wireshark in my session. So if you want to go details, so please search Wireshark videos by this name and you can have a get inside of Wireshark more detail. Understanding require IP address. You know very well what is IP address. It starts with some numeric value from 0 to 255. It's a 4 dotted decimal value which is known as IP address. The example is 172.16.0.1. So 4 decimal places. It's separated by dots. That is example of IP address. URL, that is known as Unified Resource Resource Locator. That's nothing but our the name of our websites, www.google.com. That is known as URL. Next, you require to find the way to find IP address from URL, that we will see in the last moment, and then find location from IP address. So these two ways we will explore in the last exercise. Namespace, you require to understand what is namespace. Can anybody tell me what is namespace, which you have learned in C++ program? Namespace, have you learned into a namespace?
Yes, sir.
Where?
In C++.
In C++ we have learned namespace. So what is the importance of namespace over here? The earlier C++ was not having namespace, but when the process virtualization comes into picture, then it is necessary to have a namespace. What does it mean? What does it mean by process virtualization? For example, I'm giving you just hypothetical the way of one example. That for example, you are working on some Word document, and Word document, if you want to migrate that Word document into other machine, you have to turn off that application or Word document, copy and paste into another machine, copy and paste into another machine, and you can start that Word document. So this is the cold process migration. The cold way of process migration means you are turning off the applications, you are migrating your copy paste application into another machine, and you are starting that applications. So that is cold way of migration. Hot way of migration means while the way you are touching or you are editing into Word document, you are migrating from this machine to another machine very easily, and you can continue editing your document. Okay, it is hypothetical the way I explain about process migration. It is exactly not possible, but something 60 to 70% they have achieved using namespace. So namespace provides process virtualization or application virtualization. Another advantage of namespace, early days when the Windows 95 launched in 1995, we were not able to run multiple applications. Multiple applications in the sense, if I run media player, I cannot have another media player. I can have only one media player. Right now in our Windows 10 environment and Linux environment, what is possible? If your Windows, you have a media player, you can start another media player. You can start third media player as well. So because of those process virtualization, you can have a multiple instance of same application can be run on your machines. Are you getting what is process virtualization or application virtualization by this example? Any
Yes,
question?
sir.
Yagnik, any question?
No, sir.
Sia, Tisa, Tusar.
No, sir.
So for example, MS Paint. Can you open multiple instances of MS Paint? For example, I am opening this Paint. Okay. I print screen, copy and paste over here. I take a print screen, copy paste over here. Okay. Now, early days, if I start again MS Paint, right now it allows me to open a different instance. In early days in Windows 95, it does not allow this multiple instance of MS Paint. Is it clear? Because all these MS Paint or Microsoft Paint are isolated by namespace. Yeah, two different instances of same application. Is it clear now? What is purpose of
Yes,
namespace?
sir.
Okay. So same namespace we are going to use over here in our this practical number 7. And after installing Ubuntu, this is for Yagnik and rest others. After installing Ubuntu, you have to type this command to install iperf, iperf3, netperf, tcbnum, and wireshark, which is needed to carry out our practical. Okay. So I'm sending you this. This is also available in your machine. Sorry, documentation. But for your easiness, I am typing over here. Those who are doing with me, they can type these commands and let allow your operating system to get installed while I'm explaining this. So it takes time, 5 to 10 minutes to get installed all these packages. The experiment number 1, emulate point-to-point topology and not the values of parameter. Not means keep the not of these parameters. The one table is given over here at last. One table is given over here. You have to note these parameters. You have to write these parameters over here. Then it starts experiment number 2. Okay. Now we are going on experiment number 1. So in this experiment, Ria, what kind of topology is it? Ria, what kind of topology is it? Sia. Yeah, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What kind of topology is it? We cannot hear you, Sia. What kind of topology is it?
Bus topology.
Very good, Sia. I very much disappointed by your answer, Sia. Because from first practical to sixth practical, we are conducting couple of exercise, and I frequently said, and I also mentioned this is point-to-point topology, and you are telling me it's a bus topology. So there are some ways to mold those students, but right now it's a first chance, so I'm not giving you any punishments here. But for all other students, please prepare all these lab sessions very well. And might be this year you have copied all these your practicals, that's why you are having this knowledge. Okay, I'm not expecting any answer from Sia right now, but we will have a discussion after this once this meeting gets over.
Sir, I have done every practical by myself.
So you must know what is this topology, this point-to-point topology. So this is point-to-point topology. The two
Correct.
IPVCs are given 10.0.0.1, 10.0.0.2. And this point-to-point topology is connected via crossover cable. And this PCE0 and PCE1 are having fast Ethernet that is works on 100 Mbps speeds. So in this case, now the specification of all these are very, very important and essentials as well. The MAC address is also I have written from Cisco Packet Tracer, that is no use in this in our case. So this is a code. The code has a two part, common code and a specific code. This red and blue are specific code. Common code and specific code. So common code will be applicable to all the practicals which we see in this session. Common code will be applicable to all these code which we see in this session. Specific code, by if we go by next exercise, third exercise, fourth exercise, the specific code will get changed. There will be some change in this sum, all these little bit commands over here in specific code. But this code will remain same in all these exercise. So let's start common code. So I'm switching to Ubuntu machine, and to execute all these commands we require terminal. So right click and open terminal. So I will keep center over here because I require two more terminals over here, and then type this first command sudo su, and it will ask you the password of your username. If you supply your password of username, you will be shifted into root login. Earlier it was in your normal login, and if you type sudo su, you will be shifted to root login. Okay. So in Linux, the normal user does not have the privilege to access all kernel parameters, but root user is having access to all the kernel parameters. What is kernel? What is kernel? Because I have used word kernel, so you must know what is kernel. Then we'll proceed. Neil? Poojan, what is kernel? The kernel of the operating system is nothing but it's a heart of the operating system. So kernel is related to heart of the operating system. The kernel is a computer program at the core of computer's operating system. Okay. If I look at any image, kernel comes between hardware and software. So can you see this diagram? Neil can respond.
Yes, sir.
So this program, this diagram actually this previous one was better than this. Yes, you can see over here the bottom side of kernel there is a processor, memory, disk, and devices, then kernel, and there is a software. So kernel is a part of operating system. We can consider this is a periphery. We can have operating system, Within operating system, there are kernel, device drivers, and user system softwares. On top of system software, we will have a user level softwares. So this kernel is the heart of operating system. It manages all these hardwares. For example, you run your program, the program will be allocated to processor, but if it wants to store some data, the data will be stored into memory through this kernel. So through this kernel, whole our operating system, all over your programs are getting run or getting governed. So that controlling agent of operating system is kernel. Okay. In case of networking, we talk about TCP/IP protocol stack. The TCP/IP protocol stack is installed into kernel. TCP/IP stack, you can assume this part is part of from here to here. It is TCP/IP protocol stack. So what I want to tell you that in short, the kernel contains TCP/IP module, and we are going to touch that TCP/IP module of kernel in this exercise practical 7. Okay, so that's why we require the root privilege. To access kernel, we require root privilege. So what is the command to go from non-privileged user to privileged user? That is sudo su. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any question?
Yes, sir.
Any question? Okay. So silence means there is no question. Now IPNet NS. These are the two commands which are same. IPNet NS delete read. I'm enlarging because you might be having a cell phone. So IPNet NS delete red and delete blue. So these commands are required if you have already created node or interface. You have already created interface and then you want to delete. Otherwise it will create a problem. So these are the commands which we'll use for next exercise 2, exercise 3, exercise 4, and subsequent exercise. Okay. So this is for not. But IPNet NS delete rate. Before that, we have to type command IPNet NS show. This command will show me. This command will show me. Is it clear? IPNet NS show will show the list of interface cards. My computer means where I'm working, it is having only one NIC card, but I'm creating virtual NIC cards using these commands. So the command to create virtual NIC card is IPNet NS add. This is a command IPNet NS add. I repeat, IPNet NS add will create virtual NIC card with the name specified by user. Okay. So we can write over here your name as I mentioned into instructions. You have to use your name or your family members and your friends' names. Instead of red and blue, you have to use those names. Red and blues are not allowed. This is for I have used for explanation. So let's start. IPNet NS add red. So how can I verify that red interface is created? How can I verify?
IPNet NSO.
Very good. IPNet NS so we can verify this red is created. Same way IPNet NS add blue. Okay. And IPNet so red and blue, those both interfaces are created. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is for instruction. I will explain all these steps, and then I will repeat all these steps, and you have to explain me. One of you have to explain me all these steps. So please try to remember all these commands. Let's have a revision in your mind. What is the command and what is index of that command? So this IPNet NS add red and add blue. Now we want to create two machines are created. The two machines interface are created. FS0/0 and FS0/0 for PC1 and PC2 are created. Now what we want to create? We want to create a link. link. In this case, we are also going to create virtual link, not physical link. So to create a virtual link, this is command create virtual link. IP link, this is same as IP NetNS. NetNS stands for network namespace. NetNS stands for network namespace. IP link, to create virtual link, IP link add, same way IPNS NetNS add, the link add, this is IP link add ETH rate, that's a we are giving a name, we are supplying a name. I want to create one end of the link, because this end we are going to create VTH rate, this end we want to create ETH blue. So we have to specify name of the end of this cable. So this first end is ETH rate. Type, it's a type of this the link is VETH. Peer name is ETH blue. So this, if I write in this square bracket, that indicates, this bracket that indicates we have to type, we have to replace with our name. Okay, but please mind well, please write ETH before that any name. For example, ETH Subnil wants to create an interface. So Subnil has created over here IPNet add Subnil ETH-Subnil. So there will not be a problem. Even you can write Ritesh over here or any name, but you have to attach this rate to this rate or Subnil to any interface over here. But for simplicity, I recommend if you are using RAID over here, please keep RAID over here. Okay, but do not forget to write ETH-. So IP link add ETH rate, type VETH peer name. So this is, we have to keep as it is, no need to change, and then ETH blue. Okay, so IP link add ETH-blue, then type VTH peer name, type V ETH or only VETH peer name ETH-blue. Lancer file exists. So link is already exist. Let's check. L0 is exist. L0 exists, ENP0 exists, Docker 0 exists. Why does it give me a ETH error? File exists. Let's go ahead. The link already exists, so we may use this link, because I did this practical before started this link, so I forget to remove this. The next command, we want to connect links cable with NIC card. Link with NIC card. So these are the two commands. Two commands means it's a they are identical commands. IP link, then set is a command. ETH RAID connect to network namespace RAID. So this link or this endpoint ETH RAID will be connected to NetNS RAID NIC card. So IP link set ETH RAID NetNS RAID. Cannot find device ETH RAID. So what I have used over here? I made mistake into that command. RAID RAID. Yes. IP link set ETH RAID NetNS RAID. So now the link, the RAID interface is connected to RAID. RAID interface is connected to the one end of NIC card. So we have made a connection, left side connection over here. So consider this is red and this is blue. Same way for blue, just I will use the command reusability concepts of Linux environment, up arrow key. I will change whatever I want to change over here. I have changed only the another end, which is known as ETH blue, is connected to NetNS blue. Okay. So now my topology is created, link is created, links are connected, and now I have to start NIC card. Start NIC card. Okay. So if you have observed that in packet tracer we are turn it on. There was an option on. So we have to convert or enable this card, start or enable this card. So how to start and disable? This is for I'm giving you examples. Ethernet card, change adapter options. We can disable or enable this NIC card. This is already disabled, we can enable. This is already enabled, we can disable. So these commands will enable and disable or activate or deactivate NIC card. Okay. So these four commands which are identical. Let's see. IPNS, IPNetNS. So this is common to all the commands. EXCC means create a new program, create a new instance of IPNetNS, and turn the loopback interface up. The loopback interface that we will see in network segment, but right now consider there is a one type of interface which pings itself. So there are two types of interface available by default into any machine: loopback interface and Ethernet interface. So loopback interface we have to turn it on, and the Ethernet RAID, the ETH RAID, the link we have to turn it on. So to command to turn it on or activate NIC card or activate that other two commands. So let's start. IP NetNS EXEC, IP NetNS EXEC, then RAID is our NIC card, and IP link set RAID, IP link set ETH hyphen RAID, sorry, LO up. So these command will turn loopback interface up. Now I want to set ETH RAID up, ETH hyphen RAID and interface up. So in the same interface, RAID interface, ETH RAID up, that will make our ETH RAID NIC card or activates ETH RAID NIC card. Then the same way, IP NetNS blue, IP link set LO up, and same way blue, IP link set ETH blue up. Okay. So this is, for sake of simplicity, I just press up arrow key, IP NetNS EXEC blue, IP link set LO up. So it will turn loopback interface of that blue NIC card up, and then ETH blue up. Okay. So my interfaces are up. Now what I want to do, the next step, we have to allocate IP address. So to allocate IP address, this up to this it is same. IP NetNS EXEC RAID IP, it is same as the previous interface is RAID. And what I want to do, I want to add address. So address add 10.0.0.1/24. That's a subnet mask. We will see in the network chapter. /24, you write /24 everywhere. DEV ETH RAID, the Ethernet RAID, I want to give allocate IP address 10.0.0.1, and which is part of RAID NIC card or RAID namespace. I must pick RAID namespace instead of NIC card. RAID is a namespace which is connected to NIC card of RAID interface. So let's type IP NAT NS EXEC IP address add IP address add, then IP address 10.0.0.1/24 device ETH RAID. DV, only DV, not device. ETH RAID IP NAT NS EXEC IP address add. Let's check IP NAT EXEC RAID IP address add, IP address DV ETH RAID, DV IP address DV ETH RAID, and IP NAT NS EXEC RAID. I forgot to write namespace. Now the same way we have to add for blue. So I will make change over here instead of RAID, and I have to make change of IP address as well, and over here blue. So we have added link, we have started those links, and we have allocated IP address. Okay, so now let's repeat what we have added. The common code, this is our topology, point-to-point topology. The left side computer is name as RAID, right side computer is name as blue. To create RAID and blue namespace, the command is IP NAT NS add RAID, and to create a blue, IP NAT NS add blue. Then next step is create a virtual link. The first is command to create virtual NIC card. The next is create a virtual link. IP link add ETH RAID, which is one of the interface. Type ETH peer name blue, ETH blue, that is second interface or second end of this link. So you can use your name which you have created over here. Third step, connect cable with those IP addresses. Connect cable with those NIC cards or the computers. So IP link set ETH RAID is connected to namespace RAID, and ETH blue is connected to namespace blue. And the next is activate NIC card. So there are two interfaces I told, the loopback interface and ETH RAID and ETH blue respectively. So IP NAT NS EXEC which will activate, or which will create new instance of this IP NAT NS EXEC, and it will create it will activate the link RAID IP link set allo up, IP link set ETH RAID up. Same way for blue over here. Then next is allocate IP address. So once this is done, our whole this topology is created. So in short, let's final revision. The first, we have to create virtual NIC card. Then we have to create virtual link. Then we have to connect this link with NIC cards. Then we have to start or activate this NIC card. And the last stage, we have to allocate IP address to those NIC cards. Okay. First, second, create a link. Third, connect cable with link. Fourth, start or activate NIC card. And fifth, allocate IP address. So you can see all these commands, all these one on single page. Any doubt?
સર
Yes.
સર અહીંયા આપણે વર્ચ્યુઅલ એનઆઈસી કાર્ડ ક્રિએટ કરીએ છીએ તો સર એમની સાથે કેબલ કઈ રીતે કનેક્ટ કરી શકીએ?
Virtual NIC card માં physical cable connect નહીં કરી શકીએ. That's why we are creating virtual cable. Virtual cable. So this VETH, it's a virtual Ethernet. Okay, we are going to create a link which is virtual Ethernet. NIC card is also, so cable is also virtual. We cannot connect two computers. We cannot connect two computers.
સર
Yes.
સર આપણે અહીંયા ઉબુન્ટુ સિસ્ટમ જ કેમ યુઝ કરેલ છે, બીજી કોઈ યુઝ કરી શકીએ?
કઈ?
મીન્સ કે ઉબુન્ટુ સિવાયની કોઈ બી થઈ શકે એમ?
ના, આમાં ઉબુન્ટુ યુઝ થાય અથવા એપલ યુઝ થઈ શકશે. એપલમાં બીકોઝ એપલમાં કર્નલ લિનક્સનું જ છે, વિન્ડોઝ નહીં ચાલે આમાં. ઓકે,
તો સર એમનું રીઝન કોઈ?
reason means the kernel of Linux and kernel of Windows are both are different. Okay, so kernel of Linux, all this it facilitates researcher community to research on operating system. એટલે ઉબુન્ટુ એન્વાયરમેન્ટમાં ઉબુન્ટુ સિસ્ટમમાં ઘણી બધી ફેસિલિટી કે ફ્લેક્સિબિલિટી છે જેનાથી તમે રિસર્ચ કરી શકો છો. Wherein Microsoft segments they are commercialized product. They does not allow to have some research on their operating system. So they do research by themselves. They do not keep open for community. If you want to change anything into Windows operating system, it is not allowed. But if you want to change something into Ubuntu operating system as per your requirement, source code is available, you can change. It's open source operating system. Any further question?
No, sir.
Okay. So the new feature is available. I'm presenting.
સર
Yes.
સર આપણે મેક્સિમમ કેટલા વર્ચ્યુઅલ એનઆઈસી કાર્ડ અલોકેટ કરી શકીએ?
Maximum
વર્ચ્યુઅલ એનઆઈસી કાર્ડ
RAM. Depends on size of RAM. Okay. Now, can you see the screen on your computer? હું સાઈડ બાય મારો ફેસ સાઈડ બાય દેખાય છે?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is a new feature I think added by Microsoft Team. That's why maybe yesterday we had a problem, lots of problem Microsoft Team, or this may be available before. I just observed today and I've started. So you can see my face or my expression as well. So let me ask anyone students to have us speak all those steps. Rishi, what are the steps?
Sir, creating NIC card, creating instances, then linking them to NIC cards, then
Instance of link. Second option, ma instance create instance of link, virtual link. Third.
yes, sir. Then
Connect those links with NIC card.
Connecting links with NIC card, starting the NIC card, and IP address.
Allocate IP address. Okay. So once again, I want to ask Tushar, what are those 5 steps?
Sir, first creating a virtual NIC card, then creating a virtual link between NIC card, then setting those up with ETH.
Third step is connect those NIL cable with those NIC cards.
Connecting cables with NIC card.
Link is theoretical term, cable is practical terminology. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Third.
Then starting the NIC cards.
Start
and
the
then
NIC.
allocating IP address.
Without IP address, you cannot allocate. Sia?
Sir.
First step.
Sir, create a NIC card.
Okay.
Second is create a virtual link.
Correct. Very correct.
Third is connect the cable with the NIC card.
Perfect.
Fourth is activate the NIC card.
Perfect.
And fifth is activate IP address. Means allocate IP address.
IP address. Very good, Sia. So there are a couple of times we will ask to raise other students to speak about those. step. So these are steps. This is common code for all the exercises. Okay. So please have a practice on this. Let me keep as it is. Now what we have to do in specific code, the specific code, we have to open a new terminal. This is for red and this is for blue. So I'm going to open a new terminal. How is it possible? That just go to here, right click and open terminal. So I will keep the red terminal on the left side. Open terminal. I will keep the blue. I will start blue activity over here on the right side. Blue, it is on the left side. Okay. And let me increase font size. Control plus. Okay. So I'm having 3 window over here. 3 window. The center window, which I have created common code. Left side window, which I will do stuffs of the left side machine PC0, and right side PC red, and right side I will do stuff of PC blue. So what is a command to open a new terminal, and then open a new terminal and then type sudo su. What is sudo su? What it does, Sapnil? What the sudo su does?
સર રૂટ પ્રોવાઈડ કરશે એટલે આપણે ઇન્ટરનલ રૂટ હા યસ સર
Go ahead, Sapnil. So it allows us to shift from normal user to privileged user. Okay. Then there is a command ipnetns exec raid bas. Bas, it's a Linux terminal, or create a new instance of raid. So we are getting into a raid namespace. We want to go into raid namespace. So this is command ipnetns exec raid bash. ipnetns raid exec raid bash. So if you look at after this command, I am inside of raid namespace. After this command, we are in raid namespace, and ifconfig is a command. Ifconfig, through which we can check the IP address. So ifconfig is a command through which we can set the IP address. So we have created ETH RAID interface. So ETH RAID is coming over here, and there was allo interface, loopback interface. So ETH RAID, we have allocated IP address 10.0.0.1, that we can figure it out over here, because and this indicates we are in RAID NIC card. Okay. Same way, if I want to go into blue NIC card, what must be the command? Yagnik.
ipnetns
blue bas and ifconfig. So Yagnik, what will be the output of this ipconfig command?
sir, ETH blue and hello means link છે continue
ETH
છે.
blue and this IP address allo and IP address. IP address of allo is 127.0.0.1. Okay. So this is left side is blue, left side is red, right side is blue. Now third terminal, what kind of IP address I will find over here? So we can find the IP address. This Docker is installed in my machine, and one NIC card is there. So this is my NIC card, and the IP address is 10.0.2.15, and this is loopback interface. That's a 127.0.0.1. This is outside of those virtualization. IP address આ છે, and loopback IP address આ છે. When I'm in the RAID interface, the IP address is this, and loopback is remain same. And when I'm over here, it's a 10.2, and my loopback interface remains same. So everything works on isolation. My original NIC card on 10.2.0.2.15, Virtual red NIC card 10.1, virtual blue NIC card 10.2. Is it clear? Now let's check ping from 10.0.0.1 to 10.0.0.2. So I am at 10.1 means red and I want to ping to 2. Okay. What is the conclusion of this answer? Any students? Let me speak. Hate, what is conclusion of this output? Hate, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What is the conclusion of this output?
Being successful.
Being successful. So these 10.1 and 10.2 they are connected to each other. Okay. So data from 10.1 goes to 10.2 and we are getting reply from 10.2 to 10.1. So whatever we have said, whatever the common code we have said, it is successful. Okay. So this up to this rate base and over here up to this we have we are successfully hosted all these commands and our topology, this topology is ready. Next, we have to run server in red machine and client in blue machine. Okay, so this is a command iperf -s which will start my server and iperf -c which connects these. We are in the blue means 10.2 and from 10.2 we want to connect to server 10.0.0.1 so which is nothing but red. એટલે આપણે ક્યાં કનેક્ટ કરવું છે અહીંયા IP એડ્રેસ આપવું પડે. For example, if you want to get connected to mail.yahoo.com તો અહીંયા mail.yahoo.com નો IP એડ્રેસ આપીએ so then it gets connected. But before that, the mail.yahoo.com must be started in their machines. So we are starting server application first, then client application first. Now what happens if we write client application first and server application then after? What would be the conclusion from your side?
Server won't be found.
Yes, let's check iperf -c 10.0.0.1. So connection refuse. Connection refuse means the server does not exist. That's why it has refused connection. Now let's start connection. Here is the commands. So I can clear the screen. iperf -s. So iperf -s, when I type this command, it will start server application listening on TCP port 5001 and the TCP window size is 120 kilobytes. This TCP window size we will discuss into 6 semesters. So I'm not going to discuss over here this window size. And once I type this command again, iperf -c 10.0.0.1, I'm in 10.0.0.2 and this is .1. I'm minus indicates client wants to get connected to server. IP address is 10.0.0.1. So once I type over here, you can see the request has connected. A request has arrived at point 1 from point 2 on port number this, and they are exchanging certain packets and they are giving us statistics. They are giving us statistics of exchange of those packets. So what is conclusion? Once the server client has finished its own task, the client has terminated. You can see the client has terminated. The client command prompt would appear on screen. While in case of server, it still continue. Now you might be having a question: why the server still continue? I'm expecting answer from you if you have answer. Why the server still continue? Why does not it stop over here? Why is not stopping over here?
એવું હશે કે ઈ કોઈ રિક્વેસ્ટ ની રાહ જોતું હશે ક્લાયન્ટ સાઇડ થી.
Server is always waiting for the request. Very, very true. So that's why if I type again this command 10.0.0.1, we are getting connected with server easily. So server will be in listening mode always. So this is first, this is conclusion. For example, gmail.com ચાલુ નથી અને Gmail તમે connect કરવા જાઓ છો. Do you feel that you get connected to Gmail server? No. It has to start first, then client. Okay, and server will be listening mode forever. Server will be listening mode forever. એમાં loop for loop infinite લખેલી છે. I think you know very well what is importance of infinite for loop. Now till so far you are not doing infinite for loop, and this is real application of infinite for loop. So server side માં infinite for loop લખેલી છે. Infinite means it runs for forever. So because of that infinite for loop, we are able to here infinite. How to create infinite for loop? How to create infinite for loop? How to create infinite for loop? For
condition લખવાની.
Condition માં લખવાની જ નહીં કશું જ. less than કશું નહીં લખવાનું. Then we will have a end of we will have a infinite for loop. Is it clear?
Yes sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Any
sir.
question? Server
Sir,
client
32.3 gigabytes લખ્યું છે એનો meaning?
એ આવું છું, એ ધીરે ધીરે આવું છું. You are correctly pointed. Actually, in a 10 second, the client has sent 32.3 gigabyte, and based on that, the bandwidth is calculated 27.7 gigabits per second. So normally it has to be 32.3 gigabytes divided by 10. This is gigabyte, but those gigabytes is converted into bits. So convert gigabyte into bits, you will get exactly this equation. Is it clear? So let's check.
Yes, sir.
I have not checked, but very good. Who has raised this question?
Sir, Sapnil.
Sapnil, very good, Sapnil. So let's 32.3. This is programmer. I require standard. 32.3. This is gigabyte, correct? Now I want to convert into bits. So what must I do? Multiply by 8. So
8.
which results into 258.4. There may be 0.3 something, because of that this is affecting. So 258.4 divide by 10 seconds. So divide by 10 seconds. So we will get 25.84 gigabits per second from this transfer of data. Okay, but this is theoretical. We have calculated this is 25.84. We have theoretically calculated by this 32.3, but this bandwidth is practically measured by this iPerf tool. So there will be gap of theoretical transfer and practical measurement. So this is gap of 2 point something 25 and 27, 2 point something gigabits per second. That's the gap between practical measurement and theoretical measurement. There will be definitely some measurements from practical and theoretical. For example, the service providers tells us that you will have a 2 Mbps bandwidth, but that 2 Mbps bandwidth, it's a theoretical. Practically we may get 1.5, 1.7, 1.2, 0.5 when we start transferring data. So there will be gap theoretical and practical aspects. So this over a 10 second of time, the client has sent 32.3 gigabytes and practical bandwidth measurement is 27.7 gigabits per second. And this may change of every experiment. પહેલામાં 32.3 gigabyte send કર્યા તો બીજામાં 34.7 gigabyte send કર્યા. એનું bandwidth શું આવી? 29.8 gigabits per second. Now we are not in simulation mode. We are in real time mode. Is it clear? What is difference between simulation and real time? Simulation time, if you do experiment again and again, you will have a same statistical output. But real time માં તમે કરવા જશો, in real time we will have different statistical outputs at different instance of time. If I type again after 10 seconds we will get the output. If I type run this command, we will have different statistical outputs. પહેલા ઇન્સ્ટન્સમાં 27.7, second instance માં 29.8, third instance માં 28.1, which depends on the environmental factors of kernel. Kernel having a 2 instance NIC cutoff in TCP/IP protocol stack, that's red and blue. હવે એને schedule કરે છે કે નહીં, you learn in fifth semester operating system scheduling parameter. એ operating system માં કઈ application ને CPU allocate કરે છે. For example, for this instance CPU સૌથી વધારે allocate થયું હતું એ બે instance ને. અહીંયા સૌથી ઓછું allocate થયું હતું, અહીંયા moderate level assign થયું. So you will have a different statistics at different interval of time, depends on scheduling parameter of operating system. Okay. If you do not know scheduling parameter, go to Google and type scheduling of operating system, then you will get something over there. I don't have a time to cover everything into this lab, so that's why. So is it clear, client and server, about transfer bandwidth, theoretical bandwidth and practical bandwidth? Still any question? Sapnil, Yagnik, Ria?
No,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Yes.
હેલો સર.
Yes.
સર અહીંયા તો આપણે 10 સેકન્ડમાં એટલું શું ટ્રાન્સફર કર્યું કે 32.7 ગીગાબાઇટ્સ આવ્યું?
હા, હું બતાવું છું, એ બતાવું છું. Even our eyes cannot visualize, that's why we will control from 30 gigabytes to 34 kilobytes. આ ગીગાબિટ્સ છે ને 34, એની જગ્યાએ અથવા મારી સ્ક્રીનમાં જો 40 gigabytes મોકલ્યા હતા મેં ફર્સ્ટ ટાઈમ જ્યારે રન કર્યો ને ત્યારે. But we will get down from 40 gigabytes to 4 kilobytes. There is a command we will see in the next exercise. So students, now let's resume our session. What is this specific code? We have started RAID terminal. We have opened one more terminal. We went into a root mode. We have started one more instance of we are into a RAID command prompt and blue command prompt, and we have started server into RAID and client into blue. Okay, I think these are very easy commands, so no need to explain you, no need to have a revision. Students are requested to remove this image, put your image of your practicals, which must show IP address as your student ID. So for all this exercise, you have to take IP address as we have from 3rd to 6th practical, your student ID. So keep those IP address over here or that image over here. Then write down IP address of server, client IP address, bandwidth between server and client, default port on which servers listens on data, default port on which client sends data. So the port is 5001 over here, 5001 default port. It is written over here. So you will have some information about these statistical data, or you have to observe these parameters. So the purpose of this table, you have to observe those parameters in your practicals. Okay, so you will get something out of these tables. This is for experiment number 1. Any question for experiment number 1? So we can start experiment number 2.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So now experiment 2 title is capturing packet. Earlier it was just emulating. We wanted to play around with IP address, ping and iperf. Now it's a real story starts. Capturing packet in point-to-point topology and record those parameters. Okay. So similar common code, execute the common code. I have not written common code over here, but you have to copy and paste common code of your practicals over here. Okay. So I'm writing copy and paste common code which student have written. Then same, open a new terminal, IP netness, exe, RAID bus, sudo wireshark we have to write, and then we start server and client. Okay, so only one change over here. Between iperf -s we have started wireshark. So what is wireshark? Let's see the time to explain wireshark. So to terminate this, I'm typing Control C. Okay, I'm pressing a key Control C. Control plus C has sign to terminate server. So Control plus C will terminate the server. This is additional instructions for you, and you can, I'm not going to write code over here, and you may also use same code over there. Sudo wireshark ampersand. What is ampersand? It runs that wireshark program in background. It starts this wireshark in a background. So ampersand sudo wireshark, it starts wireshark application, and I'm making the screen clear. So this is a window of wireshark which captures our packet. એટલે એક કમ્પ્યુટરમાંથી બીજા કમ્પ્યુટરમાં જે પેકેટ જતા હોય એને કેપ્ચર કરે. કેપ્ચર એટલે એને રેકોર્ડ કરે છે. લેટ્સ સી. Right now, none of the interface are sending and receiving any packet because we have not started anything over here. No activities are there. Okay. ETH rate we found over here. Now, why is it not giving ETH blue? You might be having a question. Why is it not giving ETH blue? Any answer by student?
Because it's a client.
No. We are in the namespace of RAID. We are in the namespace of RAID. That's why it gives only RAID. And once I start the same command, wireshark sudo wireshark ampersand, it will start another wireshark. This is another wireshark, and it gives only ETH blue. So we are in the namespace of blue. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Both are in isolation. It's a virtual environment, virtual processes, virtual instances. So whatever you do in this command prompt, it is limited to blue. Whatever you do in this side, it will be limited to left side red and right side blue. It will be over here, it will be limited to blue, and over here left side it will be limited into red only. Okay, so once you press enter over here, then it gives command prompt, your application or wireshark will start. Okay, now I'm pinging. Let's see the activity, what you can see over here. So observe this straight line. Okay, so I'm ping 10.0.0.2 because I want to ping. I'm pinging from, I'm available into red. I'm available into red. I'm pinging to blue. Do you see some activities? What is your observation? Can you see?
ડેટા ટ્રાન્સફર થાય છે.
કંઈક send and receive થાય છે ને, તો અહીંયા દેખાડે છે. Okay, what are the send and receives? If you want to capture, there is a button, start capturing packet. Can you see this button?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Once you click over here, what is being exchanged between 10.1 and 10.2, they are listed over here. Increase થાય છે ને?
Yes, sir.
So till so far we were in the virtual world. Now we are interacting with, or we can see the real packets which are exchanged between two machines. Same thing you can start into your machines. Click on your wireshark, your NIC card of your laptop and start Gmail conversations. You will get similar kind of packets. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's have a demo of my own window. Wireshark is already installed. This is in Windows environment. Don't get confused Windows and Linux. So this will give me only the Windows na je NIC card ase etla જ આપશે. Why is it asking me so much questions? That is the reason. I did one mistake. I have to run Wireshark in admin mode, so it will not ask me anything. Run as administrator. So straight away it takes, because we are playing with NIC card, so that's why it asks permission to play with NIC card. So can you see this Ethernet is only the Ethernet card is having ups and downs?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The reason is that this real Ethernet card is connected to my internet. So Microsoft Team, it is going on right now. So that's why these spikes you can see from Microsoft Team. And if I want to see what are the packets are being exchanged, click start capturing. It shows me these many packets are exchanged. These many number of packets are exchanged. And you can see the majority of packets are UDP packets. Majority of packets are UDP packets because this is what we are doing, live streaming. And live streaming, I told you, I explained that live streaming UDP is better. Okay. So you can see the live stream. This all whatever UDP you can see, it is our Microsoft Team. And do not keep continuous on. Close it. Otherwise, it will occupy the tremendous amount of your hard disk drive space. So I'm stopping over here as well. I'm not going to save, and I'm going to stop this command. So now once I stop this command, now that's will have a that no activity we will found on ETH rate. It is going to be a 0. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now is what is next? Start capturing data iperf minus s. So now I am starting iperf minus n into a rate iperf minus s. So my server has started the same port. It has started to listen, and there is no activity because I have not started to send any data. And client sides, what we are doing, we are typing this command iperf minus c 10.0.0.1 minus n 1 minus b 1 minus n 1 number of packets 1 and number of blocks or size of data is 1. So it will send only few packets. It will send only few packets. It was not sent. So I told you that we can transfer the control instead of gigabytes. What I have transferred 128 kilobytes only. Okay, bandwidth it was practically it's a 1.64 gigabytes. It was showing based on this 128 kilobytes. Okay. Now I made a mistake. I haven't started to capture the ETH rate, so it will not show me my intrastate packet. So what I have to do before any application gets started or any data action gets started, you have to start capturing of data by clicking on NIC card and click on this interface. There is no data is going on between client and server. Client માં કશું લખ્યું નથી, server માં પણ empty છે. So it doesn't show any packet over here. But once I type that command again, minus n1 minus b1, then it will show me this packet of exchange. This number of packets are exchanged 1 to 28 packets are exchanged. Ignore this ARP. 1 to 28 number of packets are exchanged between client and servers. So you can see this is request 10.2 to 10.1. Source is 10.2 to 10.1. Then again 10.1 when reply this one responds. So that is known as reply. 10.1 માંથી 10.2 ના પછી respond આપે છે. So this is incoming packet and this is outgoing packet from this machine. This is incoming. This is outgoing. જ્યારે in આવે છે અહીંયા રેડમાં ત્યારે આ પેકેટ કેપ્ચર થાય છે. ત્યારે અહીંયાથી બહાર જશે ત્યારે આ પેકેટ કેપ્ચર થાય છે. So every packet in and out, all those packets are exchanged or it will be captured over here. Now I'm stopping this capturing because it will not capture any more packet or it will not. We have stopped these client applications. Okay. Any question over here? So what we have done in exercise 2? What we have done in exercise 2?
પેકેટ્સ કેપ્ચર કઈ રીતે થઈ શકે એ શીખ્યું
Yes,
using Wireshark.
Using Wireshark and control manner માં લીધું બરાબર. So what you have to do, insert પહેલા તો તમારે અહીંયાથી તમે જે ping કરો છો sorry અહીંયા insert capture packet image over here. So this is I have captured from my machine. How to do? Now આ બધા machine આવી ગયા એટલે તમારે અહીંયા આ બધી window છે. There are certain windows. This is capture size and detail window. So capture size कोई पण packet TCP और click करजो and then enlarge this Ethernet IP and TCP. જે આપણે વાતો કરતા હતા ને કે Ethernet header હોય, IP header હોય અને transfer TCP header હોય. These are the real values. So take a snap over here and paste over here. So this UDP packet I have taken because I'm interested in UDP, so I have taken UDP. Next practical shows TCP as well. Sorry, our practical about TCP છે, next practical next exercise UDP ની છે. So there are different exercise for different protocol and copy and paste over here. And what is next? The exercise which you have done already in practical number 2. આ બધાના header value તમારે અહીંયા type કરવાના છે. So destination MAC address. What is destination MAC address? 4640D4. You have to write over here. And so on. Then source MAC address, then type પણ લખેલો છે. Then what you have to do, internet protocol. This is internet protocol. Header જે છે એની બધી value લખવાની. I have skipped, but you can write everything over here. And header of network fields. There has to be header of transport fields. નીચે છે. Okay. So this you have to do in exercise number 2. Any question in exercise 2?
સર
Yes.
No, sir.
પેકેટ ટ્રાન્સફર થાય છે અને આપણે વાયર શાર્કમાં એને કેપ્ચર કરીએ છીએ, પણ ડ્યુરિંગ પેકેટ ટ્રાન્સફરિંગ જો આપણે વાયર શાર્ક દ્વારા એને કેપ્ચર ના કરવા હોય તો પોસિબલ થઈ શકે?
અત્યારે કેપ્ચર ચાલુ જ નથી. વાયર શાર્ક ચાલુ છે, કેપ્ચરિંગ બંધ છે. This is same as this. I am not capturing any data, just I am taking statistics over here. જ્યારે ડેટા સેન્ડ કરીએ અહીંયા ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ આ ડેટા મેં સેન્ડ કર્યા, કેપ્ચર થાય કે ડેટા?
નો સર.
કેમ?
કેપ્ચરિંગ સ્ટાર્ટ નહીં કર્યું.
Yes. So to record data, you must have to start capturing. That is very very important. બધા last year બધા સ્ટુડન્ટ એવી મિસ્ટેક કરતા હતા કે કેપ્ચરિંગ કર્યા વગર પહેલા ડેટા સેન્ડ એન્ડ રિસીવ કરે. તો સ્ટુડન્ટ પૂછે સર કેપ્ચર નહીં થતું, ક્લિક તો કરો. And what they are doing after this practical gets over, they are start clicking on this capture. હવે અહીંયાથી તમને ખબર છે હું અપ એરો કી દબાઈ દઉં તો 1 સેકન્ડમાં જવાબ આવી જાય. પછી 1 સેકન્ડમાં ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ આઈ એમ ડુઈંગ ધ સેમ થિંગ what they have done. Okay. અહીંયા ટાઈપ કમાન્ડ ટાઈપ કર્યો and then immediately going on capturing. Data આવશે? ડેટા આવશે અહીંયા?
No, sir.
કેમ? કારણ કે ડેટા એક્સચેન્જ થાય એની
પહેલા
પહેલા
capturing start કરવું પડશે.
પહેલા capturing start કરો. So please mind well all the students, you must have to start capturing first, then you will get expected data. Okay. Okay. So I repeat this exercise 2, experiment number 2. Experiment number 2 is capturing packet in point-to-point topology and record the parameter. The same common code we have to write over here as your names, your friends' names or family names, and you have to open a 2 terminal. In 2 terminals, we are just in the server sides. We are typing sudo space wireshark m%. That m% will send this wireshark program in background, and then while you press enter, you will have a command prompt. On command prompt, you must have to type iperf -s. On the client side, just we have to control transfer of data. We are appending -n1 -b1. What is meaning of -n and -b? You can find out from this iperf3. Okay, I'm leaving up to you because I want to force you to go to these websites and understand all those parameters of iperf. That's why I'm not going to explain over here right now. So please understand those parameters. Experiment 2 is over, and everyone has to take the snap. The IP address has to be from your student ID. Other IP address, મારા માટે validation એ છે કે તમારું student ID નું IP address અહીં હોવું જોઈએ. That's it. Okay, and you have to fill this field. So in practical number 2, imaginary વસ્તુ હતી એની તમે અહીંયા લખી દી. અહીંયા practical 7 માં જે real data transfer થાય છે એની value લખીએ છે. So that is the importance of header fields that I want to tell you. Experiment number 3, we are moving on. Experiment number 3, capturing packet in point-to-point topology and record the parameter. The same experiment title, but this time we want to start server to listen UDP packets only. હું -u ના લખું, ખાલી આટલે સુધી લખું -s સુધી, so it starts iperf in TCP mode. So you might have observed over here. So if I type this iperf -s, so it starts TCP. Okay. Now I want to start UDP, then -u. So it instead of TCP, it listens on UDP protocol. Okay. Same way, client side, I have to make some changes. -u indicates create UDP packets. The rest of the remains same. That's only one change. -u and -u over here. So record the UDP parameters. Same exercise, insert the capture packet image over here. Network and TCP UDP na field લખવાના છે અહીંયા. Okay, Ethernet we have skipped because Ethernet is now no required. I'm moving towards experiment 4. Emulate point-to-point topology as per parameters given the following topology. Now I require, I'm not going to do anything now. You have to tell me what must be there. Sorry, I have to explain first. emulate the point-to-point topology as per requirement. So now I have added this parameter. So what is difference between previous diagram and this current diagram?
બેન્ડવિડ્થ એન્ડ ડિસ્ટન્સ આપેલું છે.
Bandwidth and distance આપેલું છે. Now we are going to mimic this. Mimic એટલે real આ 10 meter and 100 Mbps કેમના નાખવા આ topology માં, that we are going to see. So what is the command over here? Only one command. Open a new terminal, go to red bars, qdis આ show command છે. Actually this show command has to be right after this, but this is for show command, that there should not be a mistake. Then you have to use this command tc. I forgot the full form of tc, but tc qdisk add a dv eth rate root net anim delay of 5 seconds 5 milliseconds, rate is 100 bits per second. So over here it's a 100 mbps, so I can have a 100 mbits over here. You can directly relate 100 mbps over here. Is it clear?
યસ સર.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then 5 millisecond of delay. So how to find out this delay? How to find out this delay? Bandwidth में 100 mbps આપી દીધી, પણ delay કેમનો સેટ કરવો? This is propagation delay. This is propagation delay. How to find propagation delay? Propagation delay is proportional to
Distance by speed.
perfect equal to distance by speed 3.0 into 2 raised to 10 raised to 8 meter per second. So distance અહીંયા શું છે? 100 meter.
100 meter.
આ કેલ્ક્યુલેટ કરશો તો તમને અહીંયા 5 મિલીસેકન્ડ નહીં, આ માઇક્રોસેકન્ડમાં આવશે. એ માઇક્રોસેકન્ડ અહીંયા લખી નાખવાનું, અને માઇક્રોસેકન્ડ હોય તમારે પેલી મિલીસેકન્ડ અહીંયા લખે છે, માઇક્રોસેકન્ડ માટે 0.002 ms. જો 2 માઇક્રોસેકન્ડમાં જવાબ આવે, 2 માઇક્રોસેકન્ડમાં જવાબ આવે, 2 માઇક્રોસેકન્ડ, and what must be answer? 0.002 ms. So which is equivalent to 2 microsecond. Okay. So you have to look at this distance and you have to write this delay over here, appropriate delay over here. So now if I type MB over here, my bandwidth will be conserved to only that value. Now is it possible to copy and paste? Okay. Then same command hyperf minus s. Now you will see some hyperf minus s, and here hyperf minus c 10.0.0.1. So you will notice something over here after 10 seconds. One eight eight. So we have to set it both the end TCQ disk, ATH rate. I will set ETH blue over here. Root I have set on the both the sides. So now you can see our bandwidth is limited to 100 megabits per second. You get it?
યસ સર.
Yes, sir.
પહેલા 18 Gbps હતું કારણ કે કોઈ લિમિટેડ નથી. And this is virtual NIC card and virtual link. એટલે તમારી ઓપરેટિંગ સિસ્ટમ જેટલું ફાસ્ટ મોકલી શકતી હતી એટલું મોકલી દીધું. Now it's limited to 100 Mbps only. Okay. So this way you can control your data transfer and you can mimic your distance and bandwidth parameters over here. Okay, બંનેમાં લખીએ, sorry, you have to write in both the sides. And then you can type this command via start Wireshark and you can capture those values. Okay. The next practical, experiment number 5. So can you tell me what you have to do in experiment 5?
Bandwidth 10 Mbps.
Yes. પહેલામાં 100 કરી હતી,
Sir,
આમાં શું
propagation delay વધશે.
વધશે કારણ કે 10 કિલોમીટર થઈ ગયું છે એટલે 10,000 મીટર લખજો. 10 upon 3 ના કરતા 10,000 divided by 3 into 10⁸ કરજો એટલે you will have a millisecond delay. એટલે અહીંયા લખવાનું છે તમારે type your commands over here and put a snap over here. Then second exercise. એમાં એક્સરસાઇઝ છે. શું આપ્યું છે?
ડિસ્ટન્સ નહીં આપ્યું અને બેન્ડવિડ્થ આપી છે.
ડિસ્ટન્સ પણ આપ્યું છે, શોધો.
Ahmedabad to Toronto.
Yes.
હા,
So what
yes.
we need to do? કેટલું મળ્યું?
12,060.
મળી ગયું ને?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm trying to get into a real scenario now. ધીમે ધીમે real scenario પર આવી રહ્યો છું. You have to copy paste same exercise જે તમે અહીંયા કરવાના છો આ બધી જ વસ્તુ મારે ત્યાં જોઈએ છે. આ capture packet કરવાનું છે and everything has to be available over here. You have to repeat those exercise. Now experiment 6. Experiment 6. It's a different exercise. અત્યાર સુધી what we were doing? Point to point. Now it's a point to point topology and linear topology, but there is router is involved over here. Okay. So if you have a point to point and router is involved, you have to take care certain things over here. So net NS blue and red delete karya, router delete karyu. Now it's a create red, blue and router banaya. Same steps. Are you following me? Sapnil, do you have any doubt? The router is this one.
No, sir.
Then what you need to do, you have to create two Ethernet, two link. So બે link બનાયા.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
આને આપ્યું નામ રેડ થી ETH router 0 એટલે આ બાજુ router 0 અને આ બાજુ router 1 થી આ બાજુ blue ને કનેક્ટ કરવાની એની લિંક બનાવી બરાબર. પછી બંનેને સેટ કરી કોની જોડે કનેક્ટ થશે. આનો પાર્ટ આ બાજુ, અહીંયા આ બાજુ અને આ લિંકનો પાર્ટ રૂટર બાજુ, રાઈટ સાઈડ કમ્પ્યુટર બાજુ. ઓકે. So you can name Ahmedabad, Delhi in and out and Singapore. So you can also write over here. Okay. Then link setup up kari badhani including router. Okay. Then allocate the IP address 10, 11. ખબર પડી 11 કેમનું આવ્યું?
Yes, sir.
Because different network.
જે તમે સિસ્કો પેકેટ ટ્રેસરમાં કરો છો અત્યારે રિયાલિટીમાં કરવાનું છે. Then after you must have to write this command in your router. This is for router, huh? એટલે routerમાં તમારે IPNet NS CXCC router actually આ command routerમાં જ run થશે. cctl -v IPv4 forward equal to 1. This will enable the forwarding from left side network to right side network to left side network. So by default kernel parameter it is 0. We have to specifically turn it on so it becomes 1. Okay. Then router you can specify delay over here. Red માં પણ તમે specify કરી શકો. હવે તમારે delay ક્યાં આપવાનો? ખાલી router માં આપવાનો છે, બીજે કંઈ નહીં આપવાનું. એટલે router વચ્ચે તમારું bottleneck થશે. Then you have to type, you have to use this whole exercise. Okay, ખબર પડી ગઈ? ડિસ્ટન્સ કેટલું લેશો? અમદાવાદ દિલ્હી ડિલે તમારે કેમનો લેવાનો છે? આ ટોપોલોજીમાં લખેલો છે ડિલે. અમદાવાદ દિલ્હી, દિલ્હી ટુ Singapore. Actually, this is a Gmail server. Gmail server is available in Singapore. Gmail.co.in. Gmail.com nahi. Gmail.co.in. It is available in Singapore. You might get in USA, North Carolina as well. કારણ કે dynamic DNS ઉપર કામ કરે છે. Sometimes you will get Singapore, sometimes you will bounded to that North Carolina. Okay.
સર
ડિસ્ટન્સ એ રીતે લઈ લેજો. યસ
સર તમે જે આ રૂટર માટેનું જે કમાન્ડ સમજાવ્યું હતું એ FA0/0 થી FA0/1 સુધીની લિંક બનાવે છે?
હા હા, એટલે લિંકના તમે બે ઇન્ટરફેસ એન્ડના નામ આપી દેવા પડે છે. આ રહ્યો જો, આ જ કહે છે ને તું?
ના સર, તમે જે લાસ્ટમાં રૂટર માટે સમજાવ્યું ને એના નીચે.
વાહ,
હા યસ સર.
ના આ એવું કરે છે કે પેકેટ અહીંયા આવે ને વચ્ચે, તો એ રૂટિંગ ટેબલમાં જોઈને આ બાજુ મોકલશે, એટલે ફોરવર્ડ કરશે એને. સો વી આર એક્ટિવેટિંગ ફોરવર્ડ. Otherwise it will not act as a router. Your computer can act as a router if you have forward equal to 1. Linux ની તો આ બ્યુટી છે. Unix માં આ જ બ્યુટી છે. If you want to make your computer as a router, forward equal to 1. If you don't want to make as router, normal computer, forward equal to 0. Same device can act as a normal desktop. અને this is for real scenario. જેટલા પણ Wi-Fi access point છે બધામાં બેઝ તો Linux kernel જ છે, because it's open source. ખાલી એમનો વેબ બેઝ UI બનાવે છે, વેબ બેઝ UI કે એને કન્ફિગર કરે. બેકએન્ડ માં Linux kernel છે. All the switches, all the routers, backend Linux kernel. Okay.
Yes sir.
So
yes sir.
First time I'm experimenting with your batch, but I hope you have enjoyed a lot by this experiment. Okay. A delay એ જે delay આવે સિંગાપોર, દિલ્હી અને અમદાવાદ એ લખી નાખજો. Okay. Now this is last exercise. How will you find delay and how will you find bandwidth? Distance, bandwidth તમે 10 Mbps બધાની લઈ લેજો, 10 or 100 Mbps. I don't mind. But how you find delay? Your home, Nexthope, google.co.in. Okay, so let's try. I am typing command tracert, T-R-A-C-E-R-T, tracert. Traceroute is a command, google.co.in. Okay. This gives me a command of google.co.in. એટલે google.co.in ક્યાં છે એનું મને આપ્યું એને IP address. The next hop is એટલે google.co.in માં જવા માટે પહેલું hop એટલે પહેલું router નું IP address છે આ. Then it gives me second. એટલે મારે next hop એટલે આપણા કેમ્પસનું છે. તમારે ત્યાં તમારું વાઈફાઈ એક્સેસ પોઈન્ટ આવશે, બટ તમારા ISP નું IP જોઈએ છે. અહીંયા તમારા ISP નું IP એડ્રેસ જોઈએ છે. Okay, so skip the first one, Nexthope. Treat the second row as a Nexthope. Is it not giving any output? Okay, so IP address આવ્યું. How to find location of this IP address? કારણ કે હવે આપણે બે વચ્ચે ડિસ્ટન્સ શોધવું છે. I want to find distance between this your home and Nexthope. કઈ રીતે શોધશો? Copy this. Are you with me? Because it's somewhat tricky way. Find IP to location. So there are certain websites available. There are certain ways to find IP to location. this is a website, IP location finder. So if you type IP address over here, because I picked that IP address, which one? 172.24.195.242, which is my next hop. Then you will find this IP address. It is not going location. So click the next one, take the next one, copy, paste. You will get, it is IP address, latitude and longitude. From this latitude and longitude, you can find out the location, and from location, you can find out the distance from your home. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
A latitude, longitude,
Yes, sir.
longitude એના પરથી ડિસ્ટન્સ શોધવાનું છે. The same way next hope જે મળે છે તમને ત્યાંથી તમારે google.co.in નું ડિસ્ટન્સ શોધવાનું છે. તે google.co.in નું લોકેશન શોધવા માટે જે પહેલું IP એડ્રેસ આવે છે ને આ IP એડ્રેસ એ કોપી કરવાનું, કોપી and paste into IP location finder. You will get 117. It's a wrong. નોર્થ અમેરિકા લેટિટ્યુડ લોંગિટ્યુડ આપી દીધું અને એના પરથી તમારે બે વચ્ચે ડિસ્ટન્સ શોધવાનું છે. આ બે વચ્ચે ડિસ્ટન્સ અને ડિસ્ટન્સમાં ડિલે મૂકવાનો છે and then you have to carry out whole exercise over here. Okay, and you have to answer a couple of questions. What do you mean by server and client? When your computer becomes server, when your own computer becomes client? These are some different questions which are real questions, real time questions. એટલે એક્સરસાઇઝ પરથી તમને આટલી તો ખબર પડવી જ જોઈએ. So that is my expectation. Okay, with this I stop recording.